We're now recording. It's Two Men and a Ghost on YouTube in Sheffield General Cemetery. Very late at night.
Very late.
Very late. I'm Andrew Wooding, but the person you're going to look at is Mike Gazibrid. Where is he? There he is.
Hi there. Hi. I'm 1/3 of
You can't
being
see.
blinded.
I'm sorry about
I'll
that.
give that back to you, this card, if I can.
Oh gosh, what am I...
Right.
Right, do
Can
you
you
like
see?
the professional camera work?
Right,
I
no
can't
problem.
see a thing. We know what we're doing.
Hi. Well,
It's muddy, it's freezing.
you just look.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you. No, it's quite right. Don't worry. I feel like a blind mole. Right, hi. Two men and a ghost here. You're probably wondering why two men stood in the middle of the night.
Well, I am.
Me too. And it's thick with mud. Trust
Duh.
us, it really is thick with mud round here. But as Andrew rightly said, we're in a fantastic place.
Yes. It's a
it's
shame
called-
you can't see it. Shall we try?
Yeah, we can't see it. I mean, tell you what, we'll walk. I don't know if.
Can you? Oh, no. It's a bit muddy.
Slightly. Oh dear God.
But believe me, if you could see this, it would be stunning.
What we're actually looking at is a non. Actually, let's get on the stairs.
Shall we get on the stairs?
Yeah, no mud.
Right. Look at these Roman pillars.
Great stuff.
Oh, now we're on the concrete.
Ah, fantastic. Right, here we are. This is what is left of a non-conformist church.
For people who don't conform.
Absolutely. The situation is, what I want to do is take you back in time, really, when we learnt about this place. And as I say, because it's dead of night, it's a shame, because we've just said we're going to come back through daytime is a very good time to come back, apparently, and actually show you this thing a lot better. Situation is going back 1836. When you imagine that,
I'm absolutely freezing.
he's absolutely freezing,
Sorry.
folks. If you hear two things fall on the floor, you know what happened. We might be stood in mud right now, but back in 1836, it was a lot muddier, because actually where we're standing was once a quarry. And because of the way Sheffield was at that time, it was rapidly expanding, rapidly building. But of course, where do you actually bury people when they die if the local churchyards are getting full? So what happened was that they hired a guy to actually come along and design this landscape and the entire place. He did an absolutely incredible job, because it's a strange place in that normally you expect it's going to be Victorian, but you have a real mishmash of design here. He was heavily influenced by Egyptian design, because if you go in one direction, you're talking about the main door, or the main section that comes into this place. It goes over the Porter Brook. He was influenced by mythologies. If you remember, say, like with your Greek mythology, that a person would go on to the river Styx, he was going on to the afterlife. It was a similar situation, that the person moving on to their final resting place, they were literally coming out. I'm starting to lose it, forgive me. But they were coming. I was about to say they were passing.
I was really impressed then.
They were passing water, but I didn't mean it in that
They were
sense.
passing water.
Yes.
I think with weather like this, we'll be doing it soon.
But the incredible thing was that when he designed this, and again, I stress, we're going to actually come back through the daytime for you good people.
We're
who've been
actually in
looking
your
at this.
living room with the lights out, aren't we?
Absolutely. We've never left the house, actually. This non-conformist chapel is
Yeah.
actually stylized very much on Egyptian architecture.
Yes.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
What happened was that the local Anglican church, they decided also they wanted a section of the land. So as a result of that, they virtually split the land, that if you were on one side of it, it was where the people who were nonconformists were buried.
Hmm.
On the other side, you were Anglican. And so 10 years after this place opened, because it was going to be the first, or one of the first in England, kind of like recreational grounds, that was also come graveyard, which sounds a bit strange perhaps for the time, but it was what they were looking for. Anyhow, the thing is that what happened was that they actually built like a dividing wall, called the Dissenters' Wall, that runs from the top part of the cemetery right the way through. And there's only, I think, a small section now missing after all these years. In 1850, they decided to go ahead and build a church, an Anglican church. But the interesting thing, again, which I found fascinating, was that the guy who came into it, he used a very kind of neo-Gothic design. If you actually look at the church itself, it's very small. We're talking about the size of two semis pushed together. The spire on top, however, is the type of spire you'd think you'd see on top of a really large C of E church. It's enormous. It's totally, really out, perspective-wise.
Yeah, we'd love to show it to you.
It's incredible. Yeah, well, honestly, I know it sounds like we are in somebody's living room, but we're truly not.
Yeah.
But what happened was that they also went for a third option regarding burial. Now, this was again unusual, and that is, again, I don't know if we point our torches in that
Shall
direction.
we have a look? See what
I doubt.
That's Sheffield down there.
Sheffield down there, but down there was at one time leading to some catacombs.
Oh.
Now, what they thought of, well, again, an option, was that they built it in like a hillside, and people could actually be buried there. Unfortunately, it wasn't very popular. In a 10-year period, actually only 10 people were actually buried there, and it didn't kind of work out. Just as a sideline, by the way, on this note, Anu, do you know the first person who was actually buried in this place? I don't mean personally, of course.
Well, I know that it's not the first person, but George Bassett's buried here.
Ah, good
Who
old
invented
Bertie.
licorice all sorts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can't find him.
No.
We've been looking for him.
No. Do you think?
I
do you
don't
think
want to
he'd have
complain.
little
No.
crumbs round?
Well, I want to complain about those ones with the little dots on them. I don't like those.
I don't like the licorice, actually.
You don't like?
I don't like licorice
That's
all
a
that
big
much.
drawback with licorice all sorts.
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought of that.
Yeah, but he's not the first one.
No. The lady who actually was the first person who died and was buried here was called Mary Ann Fish. And
Oh, her.
she, regrettably, the lady died of TB. But she was actually the first person to be buried in this place. Like anything, though, it started to get overcrowded. By 1916, it was really starting to get overcrowded again. And it got to the stage that, well into the 50s, only people who actually had a plot of land here could actually have people buried here. Eventually, by the time you get to 78, the entire place gets handed over to Sheffield Council. They take control of everything.
Is this 1878?
No,
1978.
Sorry, my friend. Yes, 1978.
I remember it well.
But then, in 1980...
That was Grease and Saturday Night Live.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Star Wars.
Star Wars. I think that was the year before.
Wow, yes. But then, what happened was, in 1980, they decided to change everything. They wanted to make it more like a recreational area once again. Problem by doing that, though, it meant, and trying to fathom this was a big thing for me, they actually destroyed, they had to get rid of 800 gravestones.
Oh, yikes.
My point...
What are they disturbing?
Yeah, I mean, okay, you know full well, if you've been great enough to look in on the blog, which incidentally, can we just remind you that it is twomenandaghost.blogspot.com.
And I tell you what, we're going to stop it there and do part 2. Join us soon.
I'm blind.
It's not stopping. Stop. Stop.
Oh my god. It's never gonna stop.